How do mush? It's a Friday live across the world. You'll never guess what's happened. I've only opened my hot tub 2 days ago. It's not even up to temperature. And look what's happened. The dinghy divers have swam all the way from the Kent coast and they're already trying to land in my hot tub. The local hotels are full already. But are there any children? Seems not. I think there's shenanigans afoot. In 2020, there were 35,000 applications made in this country for asylum. The number one place they came from was Iran. They're still coming by their hundreds a week. And on the south coast, two things have happened to stop us finding out about it. Those local journalists who want to film them have been banned under court orders, and Priti Patel has asked social media to stop these people filming themselves and putting it on TikTok as they dinghy dive across the channel. We've got new figures today, exclusively here at The Voice of Reason, by our correspondent Liam T down on the south coast, who has found out the official number of children that have come across on those boats so far this year. And the number, despite being in the thousands in total, is just 24 children have come across in dinghies. So the argument that these people are coming across seeking asylum as families simply isn't true. With just 24 children coming across in the first 5 months this year, we can see that once again this year, this is mainly a 20 to 30 something male occupation of people who are looking for a new life in our country, which we know they are legally entitled to do, some of them. But they're not legally entitled to come across on dinghies, be put in hotels and expect the life to which they've become accustomed to be paid for by us. In fact, we see even more ridiculous stories this week that apparently they're very upset that their credit cards that we give them to spend their little bit of money on aren't being processed quick enough, and they're being put at a disadvantage, affecting their human rights. I wonder how many people who have had their benefits cut in this country who haven't killed themselves have the same sort of frustration that their credit card isn't working either. You know, we've got a major problem in this country when we see this figure in black and white that just 24 children came across. Now, that is not to say that those 24 children don't matter, they do. And we know, of course, that a baby was found washed up on a shore 500 miles away, in Denmark or somewhere, where it had been tossed over the dinghy in rough seas and didn't make it, along with the rest of his family. And this is just appalling. But the issue is not them falling overboard. The issue is them being allowed to leave the French coast. The issue, as we know, is not the fault of the dinghy. The issue is the fact that they're being allowed to leave the French coast and then being escorted to English waters where there is a conversation in cahoots between the French and border force to arrange to pick them up, sometimes in French waters. We found out last week that the whole thing has been a total misnomer, that we are trying to stop these people. We've paid them, we've given them more money not to allow them to leave, but it's not worked. And Priti Patel has said nothing. She's done the photo shoot. Once again, this Teflon woman, Priti Patel, proves that it's all about the press release and not about the reality, as we have thousands already arrived in this country so far this year. So what are we going to do about it? Nothing. That's what we're going to do about it, because we just keep letting them in. 35,000 people. Do you realise how many people have lost their benefits since this new cockamamie scheme by the government has forced people to reapply, and they've lost their benefits and they don't know what to do? They're pulling their hair out. Do you know how many people are losing their home because of the rules that have changed during COVID that protected them during the pandemic in the beginning, and now they've been thrown out? They had 28 days to leave, and that's it, piff, paff, poof, homeless. Yet you arrive here in a dinghy, you are given salvation, 3 meals a day, a roof over your head, sometimes in a 4-star hotel, other times in private accommodation. The children's home are now full. They're not taking any more in Kent, they're saying, because they have too many there. And that isn't, by the way, the 24 that arrived this year. That will be the hundreds that have arrived in the past. And do we have a duty of care to these children? Of course we do. But so do the countries where these people come from. But of course we're England, and we just go, come in, no problem. The French, go on, fuck off. We don't want you. And we're escorting them into Dover, we're escorting them through Folkestone, we're taking them up and down the country in buses to hotels like the one here in Nottingham. And we're expected to just say nothing. But this is an interesting document from our friend Liam T, proving that this is not a family issue. This is not about children. The proportion is tiny, less than 1%. 24. There have been thousands so far come into our borders that we know of. And they're the ones that have come through the right routes via Border Force or the RNLI, who are also being used now to escort them to their hotels. Possibly the Ritz. You never know. Well, you know, there's so few hotels available these days. What with quarantine hotels and the asylum seeker centres for dinghy divers, it's a wonder any of us will get a holiday this summer. Next thing, they'll be using butlins and pontins. Mind you, that will teach them a lesson.